My name's Cheri. Welcome to my stamp studio and welcome to June. Because it's the first day of a new month, I'm going to do a couple of a little announcement things for you just to let you know some of the stuff that's going on. So first, my thank you gifts for June. If you go to my website and you use my host code when you check out, these are the things that you'll get. So if you spend $40 on merchandise, this is before shipping, handling, and tax, you will get the In Color June jewels. This is take 2 for these because the first time I tried it last month, they sold out within hours, literally within hours, but they are due back in. And so the first day they were back in, I'm going to order a bunch of them. So we'll have them ready to go. So those of you that missed out in getting them in May, we'll get them for your June thank you. And if you already got, if you were one of the lucky ones that got some of these, they'll be shipping out this week, my May thank you gifts. But they're so beautiful and it's not like there's a ton of them, so you can have them twice because you will love them. So that's at $40. At $50 every single month if you use my host code, then you are part of my VIP video club. And for that, you get the videos for, you get 2 video tutorials that are just private. One, you get the project supplies for, and you can just use whatever stamp set you have and kind of follow along with me, but I send you those with your thank you gift. If you spend $200, then you're part of my VIP video club and you get the supplies for both. But at $50, everybody gets the tutorials. Then if you spend $200 as well, this month I am giving you a bone folder with one of my charms that my girlfriend makes. So that's this. I don't do these very often because I have to get these from her. And then my husband has to drill the holes, but I did want to do it again because I've been using them a lot recently. So you'll get the Stampin' Up bone folder and then you'll get the charm. If you already have one of mine, that's okay. I have like 4 of them. That way you can keep one in your bag where if you go stamp with friends, because you know now it's 2021 and we can stamp with people again, then you can have one and the charm will help you always know it's yours. Then starting today, Stampin' Up has some new kits. So the new kits are not going to be found in catalogs. That way they can kind of control the inventory. And you can just go to the website and I will put the link in my email and I'll put it down below this video so you can see them. I have 2 of them here. They're very similar to Paper Pumpkin, but there's some that include stamps, some that don't, but they are all inclusive. So if you don't like the month-to-month thing with a Paper Pumpkin, and I'm gonna do a video using this because this is beautiful. This is the Sentimental Rose card kit. So here's everything that comes in it, and in the video that I do, I will open it so you can see it. Beautiful stamps, and in fact, the card I'm doing today would kind of work with this, except that you don't have dies. But you can see it has a block, it has ribbon, adhesive, it has the stamps, and it has an ink pad in this one. They're all a little bit different. Also a great thing to give like for graduation gifts, because if you know a young lady going off to college, then she'd be able to make her own cards and not have to spend her little to no money on cards when she's at college. Or you know, if there's a friend you want to get together to stamp with and she's never stamped before, these are also perfect. They're great for family Zoom nights. Like you can, everybody in the family pick the same kit or different kits and then Zoom together if you don't live close. This one is one of the non-stamping card kits, and I will also do it. I'll probably do them both in the same video because that way you can see them. This one just has all everything all pre-printed on here for you. So super pretty. Those are on the website, on my website. The nice thing about these as opposed to Paper Pumpkin is Paper Pumpkin doesn't count towards my host code specials. These will, because these are much more like our old kits. It's kind of a mushing of the 2. Those are the new kits. Super fun. Then also starting today is our last chance sale for the mini catalog that started, it was January to the end of this month, June. So the things that are on sale are while supplies last. Everything, even if everything is while supplies last if it's retiring. If it's not retiring, then it's already in the other catalog, so you can see that it's not going to be there. But the stuff I'm going to use today, I posted a card last week and everything was super on sale. It's the same thing I'm going to do today. So I am using the Brushed Blooms stamp set. These are 20% off. Great deal. This is one of the sets I did my spring retreat with. Oh, there were so many fun ways to use it. One of the things I really liked about the dies, and they are 50% off, is this one. And I tried to get it to work on today's card, but the background was so pretty, then I didn't want to cut it up. But this is a die that you will super love. and it's very unlike anything that we have. So at 50% off, it's worth it just to get this. And then the rose I'm going to use today. You could just get the dies because of this and the rose. There are a couple that cut out, I think it cuts out this, and maybe one, no, I don't, there might be one that cuts out the leaves. But the rest of them are all pretty much standalone dies. So let's get going on the card. I have a helper here. I don't know, I may have cropped her out. So we're gonna go to, if you were a Stampin' Up fan back when we had our old pastels, we had a technique that was called Poppin Pastels. So that's what I kind of wanted to do with this. These pastels are a little bit different. So it didn't quite work the same. I'll leave this stuff in here. But I made it work, and it was actually beautiful. So I'm going to use moss cardstock because the moss trim is also 50% off. And then we're going to use the ladybug trinkets, so they're 50% off. So everything on the card that is in the Last Chance catalog is on sale. 3 of the things 50% off and 1 20% off. So you could go buy all this stuff, have your your June thank you gift all taken care of, and make sure you're in the VIP video club for next month. So I'm going to fold this in half. And she's laying on my scrap paper, of course, she's all the way asleep. So I'm going to get some more scrap paper. Hang on. I was all set up, and then she just came in and made herself comfortable. So she's laying on that. I'll just get another one. It's easier than trying to move her and then her thinking she needs to position herself on my table. So this, I'm going to use pearl paper, the pearlescent, I think it's pearlescent, I can never remember the word, and then shimmer white. So we're going to do our stamping on the shimmer white. I'm going to use a Versamark pad. I have mounted the 2 roses on 1 block just to make it a little faster. So you want to stamp these and try to remove the cat hair, babes. Oof. Yeah. So in the winter, you see her a lot on my table because it's spring and we have the windows open. She does like to go watch the birds. So she's been here less, but now you know she's like a child because spring's been here for a while and she's kind of like, yeah, I'm done with the birds. I'd rather come back and bother you. So I'm just stamping these random. Yeah, I'm talking about you, babes. And just kind of, they're a little bit hard to see. I know they're probably really hard to see for you. And it's a gray day here. It would be easier if I had a little bit of sun coming in. Come on, move. Now she's knocking everything over. Sibby. So I have stamped the roses. I can kind of see them. One of them is stamping a tad pink, even though they're clean. Sometimes when you use a Versamark, it can like reactivate some ink that was way down in there, even though I freshly cleaned these. So now I'm going to take the pastel. So our new pastels come in this. I'm going to get a second set when I put an order in today because there's different techniques, and I did kind of want to use water on them, but I couldn't use water and do this technique today because I only have 1 set. They're inexpensive. They're like $8 or $9. So I'm going to take the Bermuda Bay. Pretty sure. I meant to look before we started. Oh, it's Coastal Cabana. So I'm going to take the Coastal Cabana and I'm going to kind of hold it sideways. And I'm just going to add some color. And I know you all are thinking, that's not very attractive, Cheri. But we get it. At the end, it's beautiful. So I've added the Bermuda Bay. Then I have taken 3 sponge daubers. So this, I couldn't rub enough. If you used to do Poppin Pastels, we used to just rub this into the pastel. And then it would rub on to your design. This way, I'm doing it a little bit different. I'm rubbing it off. So I added the Coastal Cabana, like that. Then I'm going to take the grape. I'm going to add a little bit, but a little bit less because now it's already got color on it. And I'm just kind of swirling it with the flat surface. I kind of want to get a set to just pulverize them too, to see what techniques I could come up if you have it pulverized. But I figure at some point, they'll probably start to do that on their own. So I'm just adding that little bit of shading. You want to make sure your hands are clean before you start this, because if you have any hand lotion or you've just freshly inked something or you've messed with your Stampin' Seal or adhesive and refilled it, then you might get fingerprints on it. So there's this part. Now I'm going to take the little leaves. It's easier now to see where these are going to go because I've done it once. If you're super worried, if you have a brand new Versamark, then you would want to clean this off every time before you restamp, because it probably is picking up a little bit of pastels and putting them back on my pad. But I have a ton of these because, you know, once upon a time when I used to do in-person events, I needed a lot. Let's see if I didn't put one there. Hopefully I didn't just overstamp something because I was talking. And then just get those off the edge of the card. And then I'm going to take my Mossy Meadow, one of my favorite colors, and go over everywhere where I think that I may have put these. Do the exact same thing I just did. And the first time I did it, I did try to just put a little bit and then I thought it would smear everywhere. It needs more of the powder than you think it might. So it does work better on the leaves. On the flowers, not so much, it doesn't matter. Because if they have some airy holes in them, they kind of look like that. If you didn't get enough on the leaves, then it just had a hole. I don't think I stamped one there, so we'll just have a little bit of Mossy Meadow. So then again, you just wipe it all back off. And if a little bit of it goes in the flowers, that's okay. It just gives a little bit of highlight. Now that it's all wiped off there, knock the dust off. And then if there's any place now that I want to go back and hit, it does stay wet long enough that it will pick up just a tad more. But once it gets the second coat or third coat, I guess, of the pastels on it, it's pretty much done. Now you can see why that rose that I just showed you in that card, the kit, would work really well with this, because it's a nice large pattern that's very similar to this one, but it doesn't have the dies for the next step. So there we go. Isn't that pretty? Super pretty, super soft to make your own background paper. Like these. It colors the shimmer, because this is shimmer, it's like gripping into the pattern of the paper, the texture of it. I don't think that would do the same thing on the white, just basic white, because that's much more smooth surface. So now I'm going to take the dies and I'm going to take the pearlized paper, pearlescent. I can never remember exactly what it's called. It was in the mini for the shells, but it did carry over. Shove it through on this side so you can see better, because I can't really move it because half my workstation has now become a bed. I have just a couple of scrap pieces, and then these roses have a background piece. I may be able to get them all in one, and then the overlay pieces, and there's 4 of those. You don't have to use all of them. And in the spring retreat, we used them, we would tie-dye them first. We used a lot of metallic paper. I only need one. My other pieces were scrap as well, and I wasn't sure they were all going to fit on there. But there's so many ways that you can layer this beautiful rose. And again, half off, can't beat it. Because even if you don't get the stamp set, you could do all these techniques with the roses. And then there's a smaller background, which also cut out the rose images in the set. But because they make this background piece, they're kind of double duty. Oh, that was a present that came from somewhere. So take these out. And they pop out really easily. Okay, so the ones that they come out easily, but because they're very delicate, you have to be careful when you pull them, because there's lots of little pieces in it that are all attached. So you'll see what I mean. See, got that one. That one. Okay, so now we have these pieces, and I need my Versamark pad again. And this time I'm going to add the Versamark to the paper, but because the paper is beautiful, I don't need it to cover everything. So I'm literally just gonna stamp. Again, if you're worried about your stamp pad staying clean, don't do it on the scrap paper because I'm sure I'm picking up pastel dust now. You can also take these over to your sink and wash them with soap and water and then just put a refill of Versamark in them. So now there's enough on there that it's gonna hold our color. Do the exact same thing. Just brush over it with some color. And again, I don't want all of it covered in the color because the paper's so pretty. I want some of it to show, but I did want it to look like it matches the paper. A little bit of the grape. And then you do want to rub this in because you don't want the pastels coming off on your card. So just make sure it's nice and stuck into that Versamark ink. The Versamark is it's a slow drying ink. It's kind of gummy, but it's what we mostly use for embossing. Add this grape on there. But there's other fun techniques you can do with it as well, because once you have the stamp pad, you want to learn as many fun things as you can do with it. So now we're just going to build this. It's a little flower builder. I think that's the Versamark is, between the Versamark and the pearlized paper, it is fighting my adhesive. So we're going to go upside down. And then you do this one, then you do your next biggest. And you just work down from that. You can see as they layer, you just get that fun rose builder. It's a fun cottage rose. And there's no rhyme or reason to how they go on. That way, if you build 4 or 5 flowers on a card, they all look a little bit different. And you can even skip one of layers if you're doing multiples. Isn't that pretty? Look at my dirty hands. So if you're doing a class and you're doing this technique, this isn't the card that you want to do right before you go to do a white card. Now I'm going to take this. I have the happy birthday out of the stamp set. And it's just a nice thin happy birthday. And I'm going to put it where it's not going to hit the mossy meadow, because the black and the mossy meadow might not show up well. Got that. And the trim that's 50% off is Mossy Meadows. So I'm just gonna take it and I'm gonna tie a bow. Super easy to tie a bow with this because it's just like tying your shoes. So make sure your loops aren't too big. I do have a Christmas class that registration ends online this week. And then at the end of the week, I will open up, there will be one day where the two overlap. I'll open up for summer retreat. Really looking forward to our summer retreat. The stamp sets are really different. I like to pick different ones for our retreat, and there's different ways you can participate. You can just do the videos. You can do the videos in the paper. You can do the videos, the paper, and a selection of the stamps, or you can do the full version, which is the best buy because then they give you lots of freebies. I should not be talking while I'm doing that because that's way crooked. But we're using some of the cooking ones. We're using the turtle. We are using, I'm trying to remember all the stuff we're using. You'll start to see videos coming up with it soon. And registration for it doesn't last long because it's in July. So now we have this, and because this has got sticky on the back of it, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on here. You wanna make sure that it's gonna grab that ribbon. So put your adhesive right here where that ribbon is. It's almost pretty enough you could just leave it like that, but who wants to leave it like that when we have this fabulous rose? So add dimensional. And then add your rose. It's sticky on my hand, so I keep pulling up when I start. And then the ladybug trinkets are half off. Super cute. These little guys, they are a thank you gift for June that were substituted for the in color, and I ordered all of mine before they were 50% off. What's wrong, baby? Just add a glue dot. And then on every card, it'll probably go someplace a little bit different, just depending on how your flowers go, because you want it to put it someplace where it's going to be obvious. So just add the ladybug trinket there. And then to just kind of seal this, because every card, this one actually has a little bit more green than my other one. And the flowers, it just depends on how they're spaced. So here's a great thing to do with your bone folder, besides fold paper or score paper. I'm going to take my black blend. And the bone folder really is the best for this, and we know because at my stamp camps we use it. And see, if you just whack it with this, then you get that fun splatter. So I'm trying to avoid this. This gives you like each whack, you can see it gets a ton of it. Super pretty. It kind of covers up that dust. It will, if it gets on the pearl paper, it will dry there. It dries on anything because it's a blend. Are you leaving? So here's this card. I'll show you my other one, what I mean about it having a little bit more of the Coastal Cabana. Maybe not. I think the overall feel of this is more Coastal Cabana because of the background. And this one tended to get more of the green for the background. Super fun. Super duper bargains. I hope you enjoy it. And if you're not on my email list, make sure you get on there because then you'll be able to keep up with all the deals. Everybody have a great June, and I will catch you back here later. Bye.